friends, how's it going? Welcome to the Sunday Catch-Up. My name's Adam Holmes. I'm a songwriter. I'm a life coach from Edinburgh in Scotland. Over the last 15 years, I've made 8 of my own albums. I've produced dozens for other people. My songs have featured in the likes of Hallmark movies on the BBC and Outlander. I've done thousands of concerts. I've coached hundreds of people. And every Sunday I take a wee bit of time to unpack something from my life that I'm learning, that I'm thinking about, maybe something that I'm working on with my coaching clients a lot. As a coach, I tend to notice that there are patterns in the ways that we think about things. The number one pattern seems to be, I'm not good enough. Everyone seems to think that. For some weird reason, everybody seems to think that. I don't know why. I don't know if it's something to do with the way our brains are wired or just being a human. But that's the number one thing I come up against with clients and with myself, but something that with myself, I've worked with it so much that I feel the noise of it doesn't really affect me so much these days. So every Sunday, what I want to do is share some value, share some insights, share some things on my path that are helping me and helping my clients. And my hope is that they can help you too. By the end of this video, I'm going to give you the exact strategy. Sometimes I hate that word, but it's a useful word. But the exact strategy that you can use that's going to help you stop worrying and get more stuff done. And here's the cool thing. If you use these principles and techniques that I give you today, this will work today. Like by the end of this video, and as soon as today, you can be getting results in your life if you implement these things. What I'm going to do first is take you through why I think maybe we do worry and don't get stuff done. And that's going to be really important. It's all part of a bigger whole. So listen to the whole thing and listen to the end, because at the end, I'm going to give you the exact techniques. This week, I've been hanging out in Edinburgh, and I took 2 days off, which was amazing. I rarely ever take 2 full days off. I think it was really good for me. I think I might do that a little bit more. And what was dead cool was I watched this show called Colosseum on BBC iPlayer. And it was all about the building of the Colosseum in ancient Rome and everything that went into that. And it was fascinating. I was fascinated. I could not stop watching it. And 2 things. One, it reminded me how important it is as creatives, as artists, to consume stuff, because so much of the time I'm making stuff like this. I'm making my music, I'm coaching, I'm taking massive action, which is a concept I'm going to get into in a little bit, that actually sometimes just taking passive action, passively consuming, taking stuff in is important. Everyone's different. So most of the work I do when I'm coaching people is helping them take more action, but some of us almost need to take less action and consume a little bit. And I'm in that camp. I'm in that camp myself, but it was really good for me to take that time this weekend. And other than that, I was just walking around in Edinburgh and enjoying the beauty of my city in Edinburgh. It's just such a special, special city. So I loved that. Today, what I want to talk about is how to worry less and how to get more done. I believe you can be creative or anxious, but you can't be both. When you think about what creativity actually is, when you're in the act of any kind of creative process, what you're doing is you're taking a thought that's in your head and you're making it become a reality. I could have an idea, for a song. I could have an idea for a talk like this. I could have an idea for wanting to lose fat. I could have an idea for wanting to gain muscle. I could have an idea for generating more income. I could have an idea about having a better relationship with friends and family or my children. But without the action, it's simply the idea. Similarly, when you think about what anxiety is simply an idea. It's a perception on something could occur in the future and I could not be prepared for it. So what we want to do when we're anxious is take preparation for the thing we're anxious about. take steps to be prepared. So if you're anxious about needing a lump of capital to move house if anything happened with your house, the obvious step is to take action. If you're anxious about being overweight, the obvious step is to focus on ways to lose fat. If you're anxious about losing your relationship, you can go to therapy and work on it, or you can become a better partner, or you can work on your mindset. But the point is, you can either be creative or you can be anxious, but you can't be both. What do I mean by creative? Well, what is creativity? When you think about it, it's not just the idea, it's not just the seed, but it's the kind of action, it's the stepping into the process. It's the stepping into the actual attainment of a goal, rather than just thinking about the goal. I want to tell you about the difference between massive action and passive action, because they can feel very, very similar. What's the difference? Massive action would be texting 4 potential clients and saying, would you like some coaching? Passive action would be watching videos, learning about coaching, reading about coaching. Massive action, writing 3 songs. Passive action, thinking about writing, chatting about writing, asking questions about writing, exploring the concept of writing. Massive action, losing fat, eating less. Passive action, studying keto, studying carnivore, studying how many steps, just doing measurements. Do you see the difference? I know it sounds obvious, but actually it's quite subtle. And I think for so many of us, we really feel that we're in massive action when we're not. We're in passive action. I really want you to think about that. I really want you to study the difference. Because I know for me that working really, really, really hard, and I do work hard, and what I mean by work hard is not work a lot. The difference between working for 9 hours and kind of having that feeling of doing busy work and buzzing about and feeling busy and actually producing a result are incredibly different. So I could think about recording the Sunday catch-up for days. I could think about writing it and writing an outline and how am I going to do the lighting, what am I going to do when I sit down in front of the camera, or I can sit down and hit record and start talking and create a result. So massive action is when you're creating results. And if you're taking a lot of action, or you feel like you're taking a lot of action and you're not actually producing results, I think you're probably in passive action. And if you're in passive action, you're going to know, because just look at the results. So if you have a goal, I want to become a songwriter, without producing some songs, it's a dream, it's nothing. If you have a goal that you want to be excellent at boxing, without doing boxing training consistently, it's a dream. If you have a goal that you want to have a better relationship with your children, but you're snapping at them all the time, and you're not actively being patient and actively listening and actively controlling your emotion, it's a dream. Weight, money, visibility, all great areas of places where people take a ton of passive action. A lot of people will say, I want to get myself out there and do more stuff. Why are you telling me? Just get on a camera and be more visible, do something. Perfectionism, one of the greatest barriers to taking action. But what actually is it? What is perfectionism? Because I hear a lot of my clients and I hear a lot of people talk about, I'm a perfectionist. What does that mean? Being a perfectionist means that you're afraid. That's all. It just means you're afraid. I'm always afraid, constantly. Every time that I've done one of my concerts, every time I've recorded, every time I've done anything significant with any kind of meaning in my life, any big meeting with any of the big record labels or TV studios or anything, I've been afraid. but I've taken action whilst being afraid. Fear plus action is how you get things done. Why would we experience fear and not take action? Because we need to understand that so that we can move on from it. Well, I reckon the reason is because fear gives you this kind of dopamine hit of, wow, I'm really doing something, I'm really taking action. So it's almost like if you say, I want to lose weight and I'm going to cut all my calories, and you're telling everyone and you're afraid, it gives you this false sense that you're actually doing something. If you're telling everyone, I'm going to put myself out there on social, I'm really going to do it, it's going to be crazy, I'm so afraid, you're getting this dopamine hit off of telling everyone that you're going to do that, but you're not actually getting the result. So pay attention to how you're speaking to your friends and your loved ones about things that you want to do. Is that true for you? Are you getting a dopamine hit off of being the person who's saying, ooh, I'm really gonna write a song, I'm really gonna put myself out there, I'm really gonna get on camera, I'm really gonna lose fat, I'm really gonna make more money, but not taking the action? Are you getting a dopamine hit off of that? Pay attention. Another huge reason people don't take action is a fear of not being legitimate. Who am I? Who am I? Am I qualified? Am I qualified? What I do with this, because this is such a big one for so many of us, is I reframe it. So if I have, and I do, 500,000 followers, am I qualified to teach people who have 50 million followers on how to influence people, create more attention, create more success through social media? Obviously not. That said, am I qualified, or might I have some insights to help someone who has 5 followers? Yes. Am I qualified to help someone who has 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000? Yes, I am. Am I qualified to help someone who's never written a song? Yes. Am I qualified to help someone who has made one album? Yes. Am I qualified to help someone who's at my level? Yes. Am I qualified to help someone make an album like Beyonce? I would actually argue yes. I think I could help Beyonce write some good songs. And Beyonce, if you're watching this, give me a shout. Let's make some songs together. But, my point is, it's how you frame it. So I could look at Beyonce, or I could look at Bob Dylan, right? And if I was going out there trying to coach Bob Dylan on how to write songs, chances are he's not going to get back to me because he's doing fine. But if I go from that 0 to 10 marker, and I look at, like, if I'm at 7 on songwriting and 7 on social media, then there's people I can help. If you're on 4, then there's people at 3 and 2. If you're on 1, there's someone on 0. So if you feel like a lack of legitimacy is holding you back from actually taking action and making things happen, what I would recommend is simply think, is someone like half a step behind me, or even 1 step behind me, that I can help? And once you get into the mindset of, how can I help someone, rather than am I legitimate, you're a lot more likely to take action. This talk today, is it going to be the talk that breaks the internet and makes me the biggest life coach stroke singer in the world? Probably not. But are there going to be seeds in it that could really help someone? Definitely, 100%. So reframing your mindset from, am I legitimate, to, can I help, is a tremendous way of getting yourself out of that block. What I want you to do is set a 10-day challenge. A 10-day challenge to close the gap. To close the gap between where you are and where you want to be. And I don't mean close that gap across 10 days. I mean close that gap every day for 10 days and then see what happens. I had an interesting realization across the last week. I've been saying for a long time, because I have my background in songwriting and singing and making music and doing gigs and managing projects in the creative space. For a long time, I was saying things like, I'm a creative coach, I'm a songwriting coach, all this. I had all these different frames around what the coaching part of what I do was. And what I realized this week, and it's very clean and simple, is just, I'm a life coach. And the way I realized this was by thinking about, what does a life coach do? Well, I believe that a great life coach helps you to close that gap between where you are and where you want to be. So let's say you wanted to be someone who's lost 100 pounds of fat. A life coach would not say, let's make a plan for in 9 months to get here and there. A life coach would say, what do we do today? Do we do some extra steps today? Do we reduce your intake of calories slightly today? Similarly, if someone says, I want 10,000 followers, I would be thinking, what do we do today? Always, what do we do today? How do we close the gap today? And my job as a life coach is to help people close that gap every single day. And when I'm working with people, I'm helping them close that gap. So what we're going to do for the next 10 days is we're going to set a challenge for you to close that gap. And what I want you to do is, anytime you feel the impulse to think about one part of your life where you want to get a different result, we just take a tiny bit of action. Let's give an example. If you're thinking, I want to lose a bit of fat, then it's today. It has to be today that we cut the calories and go for extra steps or get to the gym. If you want to build followers, do a post today. This sounds so simple, but it really isn't. And this is the number one area that I see so many of my coaching clients, or even friends, fall flat, is they'll say, I really want to have a podcast. Okay, get an episode up today. I can't do that because yes, you can. Yes, you can. It has to be today. I want to start a business. Okay, get online and try and sell something today. Sell one thing to your family or friends. I want a successful crowdfunder. Get money in today. I want to do more gigs. Book a gig today. Do it today. And I absolutely promise you, if you get into the habit of taking action every single day on the thing rather than making a plan, your life will change so fast that you won't believe it. I've formulated 5 questions I want to give you to think about how you can move from worry to action more easily. These questions are going to help you. The first one is, am I addicted to cheap dopamine? This might be a painful one for some of you, and it was a painful one for me for a long time, but are you addicted to struggling with your creative project, your creative process? Are you addicted to it? What if you just didn't struggle? What is struggle, really? I write songs. Is it hard sometimes? Yes. Do I want to do it sometimes? No. Am I struggling? No, I'm no longer struggling. I used to talk so much about it. I used to sit with friends and really, man, what about the resistance? What about this? Oh, it's so hard. That's so hard. I used to spend such a crazy amount of time talking about how hard things were. Similarly with social media, oh, it's so bad for my mental health. Oh, it's so hard. It's like, just do it. Just work on it. It doesn't matter. Talking about it is not going to get you the result. It's not going to make you better at that thing. You could talk until the cows come home about having a better relationship with your kids, being a better parent, being a better friend, being more disciplined, losing fat, making more money. You can talk about all this stuff, but are you just addicted to the cheap dopamine of talking about it? And if so, what if you just stop talking about it? Maybe that's part of the 10-day challenge, actually. Just don't talk about it. See if you just weren't allowed to talk about any of it, you'd get more done, I guarantee it. Number 2, do I think it needs to feel good? When I've been making my albums, I've not really felt good any of the time that I've been making my albums. When I've been making the Sunday catch-ups, I've never really felt good. When I've been coaching people, I often don't feel that great. When I'm doing gigs, I don't really feel good. I don't have an expectation that I need to feel good ever, really. That's for therapy. Like if I'm like, really, I don't feel good to the point where it's actually upsetting me, then I need to just go to therapy, because it's nothing to do with what you're doing. I mean, it is in the sense that I live very aligned with my values. So like, I don't do stuff I don't want to do. I won't go to your wedding if I don't want to. I won't go for a night out with my friends if I don't want to. I won't go to some kid's birthday party who I don't really know or like. And I will only do activities that suit me, really. And when I say suit me, I just mean like things that are aligned with my values. And my values are, I want to offer an example to the world that you can live in the way you want to live and that you can be successful as an artist. And I'm comfortable knowing that that's a big yes to those things and a big no to a lot of other stuff. I'm comfortable there. I don't, however, think that it needs to feel good. And I know the difference between my values being adhered to and feeling good. I'm not that interested in feeling good. I'm not that interested in having fun. I'm interested in living with my values and making an impact and being a reliable, consistent person who is aligned with myself. And I am. That's how I feel. I mean, obviously I have my moments. I have little moments where I do stupid things and regret them because I'm human. But 95% of the time, I'm living in alignment with my values. And that doesn't feel that great. Going to boxing doesn't feel that great. Making content doesn't feel that great. Making stuff, doing stuff, taking action, putting myself out there. None of it feels good. So do you think it needs to feel good for you? What if it doesn't? What if you released that belief, would it be easier for you to just take action on all the things that you want to take action on? What 3 things could I do this week to move the needle? I'd even change that to what 3 things could I do today to move the needle? So for me, walking a lot of steps, recording this stuff, and connecting to Jen, my girlfriend. Those are 3 things that I know will move the needle in the right direction. What are your 3 things that you could do today to move the needle? Next question. Have I done it 1,000 times? And this is a brilliant way to reframe your own suffering as it relates to a goal. So if you're shredded, right? Have you spent 1,000 days working on your body and being in a calorie deficit? No? Okay, well, you don't deserve that result then. You're not entitled to that result. Have you written 1,000 songs? No? Well, you're not entitled then to feel confident about your songwriting. Have you worked on your money mindset for 1,000 days? No? Well, you don't deserve to have a great money mindset. You're not entitled to it. I see this all the time. It's like result entitlement. If you are entitled to have a great result in your life, it's just because you've done it 1,000 times. I have an amazing relationship with Rosa, and I've spent 1,000 days of her life really consciously creating that, working on that. I know so many of you parents out there are working hard on that. I see you. I see what you're doing. Have you done it 1,000 times? Have you worked out every day for 1,000 days? Have you posted 1,000 times on social media? Have you sent 1,000 mail outs? Have you coached 1,000 people? Have you posted 1,000 YouTube videos? Have you done 1,000 sales calls? You know, if you frame it like that, you're going to take a lot of the sting out of the result entitlement. And I'm saying this to you in a loving way. Trust me. I'm saying You don't want result entitlement because it takes energy away from your mission. If you feel like you're entitled to a result and you don't get it, what's going to happen is you're going to become very attached to that failure rather than just thinking, oh, it's number 652. Cool, I've got another 400 to do, crack on, right? Frame it in the context of that kind of volume. The last question I want to leave you with, and this is a very powerful one, is who will I be when I've performed the action 1,000 times? So many of you guys, I see you, I'm coaching you, and I see how much you're struggling. I see it, and I've been there. You're struggling with the self-doubt. You're struggling with the indecisiveness. I see you. I've been there. I know how it feels. But what I want you to think about is, who are you going to be when you've performed the action 1,000 times? When you've done that 1,000 concerts, when you've worked out 1,000 times, when you've saved money 1,000 times, when you've lost fat and built your body for 1,000 days, when you've invested for 1,000 days, when you've really worked on your mindset and your frame, and you've got great relationships that you built for 1,000 days and a good community that you built for 1,000 days, who are you going to be? And that's what I want to leave you with this week is, who are you going to be when you've done the action that you're avoiding right now for 1,000 days? You're going to be a whole other person. I'm a whole other guy than I was 1,000 days ago. And I'm a whole other guy from who I'm going to be in 1,000 days. And so are you. And what I want to offer you is to really give that future part of yourself a lot of grace. Give that past part of yourself that worked so hard to get you here right now a lot of grace, and appreciate the beauty of those three versions of yourself. That version of yourself right now that's doing that work. Good on you. God bless you. That version of yourself that did all that work to get you here right now. Do something nice for them. That version of yourself that's in 1,000 actions in the future. Appreciate them. Appreciate and integrate the three parts of the whole. I hope there's been some value in this episode for you guys today. Come and join the club if you're not already in. Make a decision right now and click that link in the top comment and come and join us. There's a ton of content in the club. There's 700 of us in there. There's courses. There's musical content. We have a WhatsApp group. It's only $1.50 at the lowest tier to join. And it supports me. It supports my daughter. If you can afford it, I'd really appreciate it if you click the link in the top comment and came and join us. If you're already in, thanks so much, guys, and I hope you're having a beautiful week. I love you guys in the club, and I will speak to you soon. Have a great one. Cheers.